So this is part 2 of body mechanics for massage application, and we're going to focus in this one on table height and how we position our body to set up for our initial massage applications.
And key as well is the idea of trying to get you guys and massage therapists in general to be using their forearm predominantly.
Yeah, and when you try to use your hands, these are little. Most massage therapists are females. They don't have the same body structure. So making the modifications we're going to talk about will make your life a whole lot easier. And in future videos, you'll find that the broader application of the forearm is actually a safer massage approach.
It broadens the base of compression so you can't bruise tissue or potentially slip and make contact where you would not
That's right.
want to. So it's safer in many contexts. One, for the sake of draping and comfort with the client, but predominantly what we're talking about here is helping the massage therapist. Use your hands less.
Yes. And when we teach body mechanics and ergonomics, it's always about you. Luke and I both get this idea all the time. Well, what is the client going to like this? Or what about the client? And and that we want to attend to our client. But ergonomics and body mechanics is about you, your safety, and your career sustainability. This table is too low for me. So it certainly would be too low for Luke as well. However, male massage therapists can actually get away with some of these types of modifications with table height because their joint structure is just different. Their center of gravity is different. So it gets difficult when you've got an excellent male instructor trying to teach a female how to do body mechanics. So this table is coming in right about my mid-thigh, right through here, which is where a lot of people recommend. And yes, I always get, well, what about the client that's on there? We'll come to that. So what I'm going to show you is that a table, not at mid-thigh, but more right here at your hip joint, is better. Better for supporting the idea of forearm first.
And that's going to be the key. She's going to be able to show that by raising the table, you are able to better utilize your forearm without losing the ability to use your hand.
That's right.
I think that's the tendency is everybody wants to use their hands more, so they set the table optimally for that. But if you can do both, why not?
So let's look at the general stance. All right, so I'm going to face the camera with this to start with. So I have to pick out which arm I'm going to use. So I'm going to use my right arm. So that means that my right foot is going to come forward. We've covered this just a little bit. Not too far, not way big stance, a little bit far apart.
About shoulder width and about 1 foot.
1.5 feet.
1 foot wide, 1 foot forward.
So, and you're going to need, this is an ergonomics issue, you need something that's going to grip this floor. So working in stocking feet or working without a rubber-soled shoe can become problematic because you'll slip. So the push, the force application is going to come from my back leg, and my excursion, or how long that stroke is going to come from how far I move as I push into the floor, weight transferred into the floor with my back leg, and forward where my knee comes to where my toe is at. Then I use this foot, my front foot, push myself back, and I can start that stroke over multiple times.
You'll see this allows the whole body to move together. And when the arm becomes applied to the client, now your body weight is focused toward wherever you're making contact with the client. This lets you use your body weight to apply pressure, not your muscles, not your joints.
Which is part of what career longevity is. Okay, so Here's our client. Clients have hills and valleys, and you want to lean against a hill. We'll talk about that too at another time. But just for right now, I'm going to reposition like I was going to do the position for this client. So almost always, not always, but almost always, our abdomen is facing the table. And what did you say about this, Luke? It's our belly button and
your toes, your belly button, and your nose should be pointing where you are working. Where your forearm or your hand is where the rest of your whole body should be lined up toward it. Now that focuses, again, this is focusing your body weight towards where the pressure is being applied. That's going to obviously be the most efficient way to apply pressure.
I want my pressure to land right there.
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to use my forearm first.
Mm-hmm. So notice she has her left forearm. So look, left leg forward, right leg back. But now, because the table's too low, what does she have to do? She has to bend way far, and she's too far out of neutral position now.
And it's hard to get back.
Yep, can't get back out of that. So you lose your own stability. And it can be just as important in body mechanics as to be able to lean, not just to be able to lean forward, but to be able to come back out of that. Every time now she was doing this repeatedly, she's having to use her spine and the muscles of the spine to come back into extension. That's going to create...
this is awkward.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the other thing that happens with this is that I feel strain because I'm bending over. I've got too much of my upper body forward from my center of gravity. So let's correct that. Now, this is the top of the table now.
Yep.
And that's going to ride right about at my hip joint.
Now she raised that cushion she's showing is about 6 inches thick. So we're talking about raising the table a full 6 inches for her.
For me.
And so it's going to surprise people how high the table probably should be.
Yes, it is. And they're going to think, oh, I can't get any pressure. But yeah, you can. We'll show you that in another clip. So here now is the table height, and there is the client. So I'm going to get my setup. I know where I want to land. I've got myself positioned by the table. And look at all I need to do to hit that area now.
Everything stays in neutral position. She only is coming out of her starting position based on the flexion of that forward knee. She is not having to flex the hip or the spine in order to make contact.
And it's important for this back foot. This is where all of your force is coming from.
You should feel like you're
turned out.
Yep, don't turn out. No twisting anywhere.
That's automatically going to make me want to twist. So there's the basic approach.
So feet flat, everything in line, toes, hips, belly button, sternum, chin, all in line with where we're applying pressure, and the movement occurring at that knee. All right, next video.